They told her it was just a garden, a quiet inheritance, a place where flowers bloomed and secrets were buried. But what Isadora found at St. Lucia was not just a garden, it was a graveyard, a ritual, and a choice that would haunt her forever. Would you be able to choose justice over love? Welcome to the Garden of St. Lucia, a story about legacy, truth, and the price of breaking the cycle. Before we begin, don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more stories like this. And tell us in the comments, where are you watching from? Let's begin.
I didn't expect it to look like this, Isadora said softly, stepping out of the dusty car. The sun was low, casting long shadows across the cracked stone path. The house stood quiet at the top of the hill, hidden by vines and thyme. The gate creaked in the wind, half open, rusted. St. Lucia, she read from the weathered stone, brushing away a cobweb. Still standing. As she climbed the steps, her footsteps echoed. The wooden door opened before she knocked. "You're late," a voice said. Isadora froze. "Tia Antonia." The old woman stood in the doorway, tall and thin, her white hair tied in a long braid. A cane rested in her hand. Her eyes were pale and milky. "Yes," Antonia said. "Come in. Before the sun disappears." Isadora stepped inside. The scent of jasmine and dust filled the air. The house was dark, lit only by the fading light through the lace curtains. "I thought you were blind," Isadora said. "I am, mostly. But I still see what matters." Antonia turned slowly, walking deeper into the house. "Follow me." "I haven't been here since I was a child," Isadora said. Her voice echoed slightly in the hallway. "Not since." "Your mother?" Antonia nodded. "She didn't speak of this place much, did she?" "No," Isadora said. "She said it was haunted." Antonia smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. She wasn't wrong. They entered a sitting room. Everything looked untouched, furniture covered with white cloths, photographs on the mantel, and in the center of the room, a vase filled with fresh jasmine. "That's not possible," Isadora said, pointing at the flowers. "These aren't in season." "They bloom when they want to," Antonia replied. "Especially here." Isadora looked at her. "What does that mean?" "It means this land remembers." There was silence for a moment. "You stayed here all these years?" Isadora asked. "I was never gone. And no one visited. No one needed to." Antonia walked to the window. "Come. Look outside." Isadora joined her. The garden stretched out beyond the house, wild and full, with tall grass and tangled vines. Jasmine bloomed along the old stone wall, thick and glowing in the last light of day. "It's beautiful," Isadora whispered. Antonia didn't reply. "What happened here?" Isadora asked. Antonia turned her head. "You'll see. In time." That night, Isadora unpacked her bags in the guest room. The bed was hard, but clean. A breeze passed through the window, carrying a strange melody, soft humming, almost like singing. She got up, walked to the window, and looked out. The garden was still. Or was it? A flicker of movement. A shape. A woman. Isadora blinked. The garden was empty again. The next morning, she found Antonia in the kitchen, boiling water. "You saw them, didn't you?" Antonia asked without turning. "I saw something. Women dancing in the garden." Isadora hesitated. "Yes." Antonia poured tea. "You're not the first." "What are they?" "Memories," Antonia said. "Or maybe warnings." "Warnings." Antonia turned. "This house, this garden, they don't forget." "Who were they?" Isadora asked. Antonia handed her a cup. "People who lived here. Women. Long ago." Did something happen to them? Antonia didn't answer. Later that day, Isadora explored the garden. The path was cracked, overgrown, but still walkable. The jasmine was stronger here, overwhelming. The breeze carried whispers she couldn't understand. At the far end of the garden, she found a well. The stones were old, moss-covered. Water shimmered below. She leaned closer. Heard. Humming. A twig snapped behind her. She turned. A man stood there, arms crossed, watching her. "Sorry," he said. "Didn't mean to scare you." "Who are you?" Isadora asked. "Elias," he said. "I work the land nearby. Help out your aunt sometimes." Isadora looked at him closely. "Have we met?" "You were 10, Elias said, smiling. "You threw a rock at me." "I doubt that." "I don't," he said, grinning. They stood in silence. "Strange place," Isadora said. Elias nodded. "Always has been." "Why is the jasmine blooming now?" He shrugged. "No one knows. But they say it only blooms like this when the ground's been disturbed." "Disturbed?" Elias met her eyes. "Some things grow best after death." "Some things grow best after death," Elias said again, and Isadora felt a chill run through her. She stepped back from the well slowly. "That's a strange thing to say." "I just meant the soil," he added quickly. "It's rich here. Always has been." "I'm not sure that's comforting," she said. Elias smiled, but it faded fast. "Your aunt never liked people snooping around this part of the garden. She told me the jasmine remembers." "That's her favorite line," he said, brushing a vine off a stone. "I think it's more than a line." "What do you mean?" Elias glanced around. "Look, I shouldn't be talking. Antonia doesn't like it. But this place, people say it holds on to things. Things. Pain. Love. Anger. It stays in the ground." Isadora looked back at the well. The humming had stopped. "I saw something last night," she said. "Out there. Women. Dancing." Elias froze. "You saw them? You've seen them too?" "Only once. Years ago. I thought it was a dream." "It didn't feel like a dream." "No," he agreed quietly. "It never does." They walked back to the house together. The air was heavy with the scent of jasmine. Isadora's mind was racing. Antonia was waiting on the porch. "You've been out walking," she said without turning. "Yes," Isadora replied. "You found the well?" "Yes." Antonia tapped her cane against the wood. "It calls to women. Especially those who carry questions." "I have more than questions," Isadora said. "Good. That means you're ready." "Ready for what?" Antonia stood slowly. "Come inside. I'll show you." They entered the sitting room. Antonia walked to the fireplace and pulled a small box from behind a loose brick. She handed it to Isadora. "What is this?" "Your mother's." Isadora opened the box. Inside were dried jasmine petals, a photograph of a group of women, and a folded piece of paper. She opened the note. 6 names. Each one written in the same careful handwriting. Each one crossed out. "Who are these women?" Isadora asked. "They were like your mother," Antonia said. "Each of them heard the garden. Each of them came here for shelter." "Shelter from what?" Antonia didn't answer. Isadora looked at the photo again. Her mother stood in the middle, younger, smiling. Beside her stood Antonia, looking almost the same. "This was taken here." Antonia nodded. "She never talked about this. About you." She was afraid. Of what? Of herself. That night, Isadora couldn't sleep. She sat by the window, watching the garden. The moon was full. The jasmine shimmered in the light. Then, the humming returned. Soft at first. Then layered, multiple voices, rising and falling like a lullaby. She stepped outside, barefoot, drawn by the sound. As she reached the edge of the garden, she saw them. Women. Dressed in white. Moving in slow circles. Hands joined. Eyes closed. She didn't move. Didn't speak. The woman closest to her opened her eyes. They locked eyes for a moment. Something deep passed between them. Recognition. Memory. Then the wind picked up. The figures faded, like smoke in the air. Isadora stood alone again. She returned to the house. Antonia was waiting in the hallway. "You went out," Antonia said. "I had to." "You saw them?" "Yes." "Do you know who they are?" Isadora shook her head. "No, but I feel like I'm supposed to." Antonia nodded slowly. "That feeling will grow." "Are they spirits?" "Not exactly." "Then what?" Antonia stepped closer. "They are women the world tried to erase. They lived. They loved. They suffered. And they refused to vanish. But why are they here? Because this place is a sanctuary. For those who had nowhere else. And the well. It keeps their memory alive." Isadora looked down at her hands. She was still holding the folded paper. "All of them are crossed out." Antonia said nothing. "Did they die here?" "No," she replied. "They chose to stay." "You're not telling me everything," Isadora said, her fingers tightening around the folded paper. "I'm telling you what you're ready to hear," Antonia replied, turning toward the hallway. "That's not an answer." "No, it's not." Isadora followed her down the corridor. "You've been hiding something." "I've been protecting something," Antonia corrected. "There's a difference." They stopped at the end of the hallway. A door stood half open, revealing a room lined with bookshelves and yellowed maps of the land. Antonia lit a candle and stepped inside. "Come," she said. "You want the truth. Look here." Isadora entered slowly. The room smelled of wax and dried herbs. Antonia pointed to a table. On it lay a journal, its leather cover worn, its pages brittle. "Your mother kept records," Antonia said. "Of the women who came. Of what we did." Isadora opened it, flipping through. Names, drawings of flowers, short notes beside each entry. Eliza, bruises under her collar. Fear in her voice. Buried the knife herself. Maria, brought nothing but a ring. Still had it on when she left. Camila, walked here barefoot from 3 towns away. Never spoke a word. "What is this?" Isadora whispered. "A ledger of healing. And justice." "These aren't just stories," Isadora said. "These are crimes." Antonia looked her straight in the eye. "You think justice always comes wrapped in law?" Isadora stepped back. "Are you saying you killed these men?" "No," Antonia said softly. "I'm saying we stopped them." There was a long silence. "I don't understand what that means." "You will." Isadora closed the journal. "I need air." She left the room and stepped out into the garden. The jasmine was thicker than before, almost choking the path. She pushed through, following instinct more than memory, until she reached the edge of the trees. Elias was there, sitting on a fallen log. "You okay?" he asked, standing as she approached. "I don't know." He handed her a thermos. "Tea. Mint and something else your aunt grows. She says it helps with questions." She sipped. "It tastes like earth." "Then it's working." Isadora sat beside him. "Why do you help her?" "She doesn't ask much. Just small repairs, gardening, deliveries. And she pays in stories." "Stories?" Elias smiled. "Your aunt is full of them." "She's full of something," Isadora muttered. Elias looked at her. "She told me you were coming. Months ago. She knew my parents would die. She said the garden was calling you back. That you'd arrive with grief on your shoulders." Isadora set the thermos down. "This place, it's doing something to me." "You feel it too." "Too?" "I come here sometimes at night," Elias admitted. "Not to see her. Just to be near the garden." "That's not normal." "Neither is this place." They were quiet for a moment. I saw them again last night, Isadora said. The women. Elias looked at her, serious now. They want something. I think they want me. Why you? I don't know. Maybe because of my mother. Maybe because I haven't run yet. Elias hesitated. Then maybe you shouldn't be alone out here. She turned to him. You don't believe any of this, do you? I don't know what I believe. But I've seen too much to pretend it's all in your head. She stood up. I should go back. She'll know I'm gone. I'll walk you. They moved through the garden in silence. As they neared the house, Isadora stopped. What's that? She asked, pointing at a small stone marker buried in the weeds. Elias bent down, brushed away the dirt. A name carved in the stone. Helena Montero. My mother, Isadora whispered. She's buried here. Elias stood quickly. I didn't know. Isadora's voice shook. She told me my mother died in the city. In a hospital. Elias looked pale. You didn't know? No. The front door creaked open. Antonia stood in the frame. So, she said. You found her. You lied to me, Isadora snapped. I gave you time, Antonia replied calmly. To remember on your own. Remember what? That you belong here. No, Isadora said, stepping back. You buried her. Without telling me. She asked me to. She didn't want to leave. That's not your choice. Antonia's voice remained steady. It was hers. Isadora turned to Elias. Take me back to town. You're not leaving, Antonia said. I am. You'll come back. Don't count on it. She stormed inside, packed a small bag, and met Elias at the truck. As they drove down the hill, she looked back once. The house stood still, unmoving. But in the garden, something shifted. A woman. Barefoot. Pale. Watching her go. The ride back to town was silent at first. Elias kept his eyes on the road. The trees blurred past, tall and still. Isadora sat rigid in the passenger seat, arms crossed, staring out the window. Do you want to talk? Elias asked quietly. No. Okay. A few more minutes passed. I didn't know she was buried there, he said. Your mother. I know. I wouldn't have. I said I know. Elias tightened his grip on the steering wheel. I think she really did believe she was doing what your mother wanted. That doesn't make it right. No, it doesn't. They reached the edge of town. Elias pulled into a small motel lot and parked. Thanks for driving, Isadora said, opening the door. Do you want me to stay? She paused. No, I'll be fine. He nodded. If you need anything. She didn't answer. Just shut the door. Inside, the motel room smelled like old air and lemon cleaner. She dropped her bag on the bed, sat down, and stared at the floral curtains. Her chest was tight. She didn't cry. She didn't sleep. At 3:12 a.m., the humming started again. She bolted upright. It was faint. Barely there. No garden. No jasmine. Just walls. Still, she heard it. From the pipes. The vents. No. From inside her. She stood, opened the window. The air outside was flat, dry. No scent of flowers. And yet. She leaned closer. Closed her eyes. The melody was clearer now. Like breathing. Like footsteps in grass. She slammed the window shut. Stop it, she whispered. Leave me alone. But it didn't. The next morning, she checked out and walked to a cafe. Sat in the corner, drank bitter coffee. Tried to scroll through her phone. Emails. News. Nothing helped. Mind if I sit? A voice asked. She looked up. Antonia. Isadora flinched. How did you get here? You think the garden only reaches as far as the gate? Isadora stood. I'm not going back. Your feet don't have to. Your heart already did. You lied to me. I protected your mother's wishes. You kept me from knowing the truth. You weren't ready. Isadora clenched her jaw. I don't want this. Antonia folded her hands on the table. Want has nothing to do with it. The garden chose you. I don't care. You dream in jasmine now. Isadora's face went pale. Get away from me. Antonia stood. You can run. But the roots are already under your skin. Isadora left the cafe without paying. She didn't stop walking. Not until she reached the edge of town. Elias was waiting beside his truck. How did you know I'd be here? She asked. I didn't. I hoped. She looked at him, exhausted. Why is this happening to me? I think you were always meant to come back. She leaned against the truck. What if I don't want it? Then fight it. I'm tired of fighting. Then stop running. She looked up at him. You're not scared. I'm terrified. They stood in silence. Then she said, take me back. The road to the house felt different now. Heavier. Like the trees were leaning in, listening. When they arrived, Antonia was sitting on the porch. I knew you'd return, she said simply. I'm not staying, Isadora replied. I just want answers. Then follow me. They entered the back of the house. A staircase led downward, into a room she had never seen. Candles lit the stone walls. Vines crept through cracks. This is the heart, Antonia said. The heart of what? Everything. There were jars on the shelves. Each labeled with a name. Each filled with petals. What is this? Isadora asked. Memory, Antonia said. Each woman left a part of herself here. A promise. A truth. And my mother. She left her pain. Isadora turned to face her. And what do you want from me? I want nothing. Liar. I want you to decide. Decide what? Whether this garden continues, or dies. Isadora's breath caught. You want me to take your place? Antonia didn't answer. You brought me back for this. I guided you. The garden brought you. Isadora backed away. No, I'm not doing this. You already are. She ran out of the room, through the house, back into the garden. The scent hit her like a wave. Jasmine. Soil. Smoke. She dropped to her knees. From the shadows, a figure stepped forward. Not Antonia. A woman. Young. Pale. Her mother. Helena. Isadora, she said softly. Isadora trembled. You're not real. I'm what's left. Tears fell down Isadora's face. Why didn't you tell me? I tried. But some truths only bloom with time. I don't want this. Helena knelt beside her. But you are this. We both are. Why me? Because you listened. Helena touched her cheek. It's not about revenge. It's about remembrance. I don't know what that means. You will. Behind her, more women appeared. Silent. Waiting. The garden hummed louder. I don't want to be part of this, Isadora whispered. Her voice trembled. You already are, Helena said softly. The garden called you. And you answered. No. I just came because of the inheritance. I didn't know. I didn't ask. Helena tilted her head. Do you really believe that? Isadora stood up slowly, wiping her face. I'm not like you. Or them. You're exactly like us, said another voice. One of the women stepped forward, her dress torn, skin marked with faint bruises that time had not erased. We were all pulled here. Not to destroy. To remember. To protect. I don't want this power. It's not power, Helena said. It's responsibility. Isadora looked around. The garden pulsed, alive with whispers and petals. The women circled her, silent, present, watching. You buried them here? Isadora asked, turning to Helena. No, Helena said. We buried what they did. And Elias? She asked. He doesn't know. He suspects, Helena said. But he is not ours to carry. Isadora took a deep breath. And if I walk away? You'll never truly leave, the bruised woman said. You'll carry this weight without understanding it. You'll dream of Jasmine. You'll hear us when no one else does. You'll always wonder if you abandoned something bigger than yourself. Why me? She said again. Why not Antonia? Helena's expression shifted. She never wanted control. She guarded the roots. But she cannot bloom again. Isadora clenched her fists. I didn't ask for any of this. No woman ever did, one whispered. A silence fell. Then, from the house, Antonia appeared, her cane tapping slowly. She stepped into the circle of women, nodding respectfully. You've seen them now, she said. Heard them. Stood where your mother once stood. Why didn't you tell me everything? Isadora asked. From the beginning. Antonia's face was unreadable. Because I needed you to see it. Not read it. Feel it, not hear it. I felt betrayed. You were, she said. But not by me. By the world. Isadora didn't answer. Antonia stepped forward and held out a small object. A stone pendant. A jasmine flower carved into it. This is not a crown, she said. It's a key. You can accept it, or destroy it. And what happens if I do? Isadora asked. You become the voice of the garden. And if I don't? The garden goes quiet. The women disappear. Their stories end. Isadora turned the pendant over in her hand. It was warm. Behind her, the women stood still. Waiting. She looked at Helena. Did you want this for me? I wanted you to be free. And this is freedom. Helena looked away. Not always. But it is truth. Isadora stepped back. I need time. You have until dawn, Antonia said. After that, the choice makes itself. Isadora walked away, alone. She found Elias near the old greenhouse, trimming the vines. You're still here, she said. I didn't want to leave without saying goodbye. She sat beside him. What do you think of me? He blinked. That's a strange question. I need an honest answer. He looked at her closely. I think you're brave. Angry. Lost. But trying. She exhaled. I've seen things you wouldn't believe. I believe more than I used to. I don't know if I can carry it. Then don't carry it alone. She turned to him. You don't even know what I'm talking about. I know enough, Elias said. I know this land holds more than roots. I know your aunt speaks to shadows. I know your eyes have changed since you came back. I feel like I'm unraveling. No, he said. You're becoming. She rested her head on his shoulder. What if I become someone I don't recognize? Then I'll remind you who you are. She closed her eyes. But the humming returned. Soft. Sad. Urgent. She stood. I have to go. Where? To decide. Back in the garden, the women stood in a circle again. Antonia waited in the center, the pendant resting on a stone. Helena stood beside her. You came back, Antonia said. I didn't leave, Isadora replied. Then say it. Isadora looked at the pendant. I will carry their stories. I will protect their roots. I will not lead. I will listen. Antonia nodded. That is the right answer. The women stepped forward, one by one, each placing a petal in her hand. The wind picked up. The jasmine swayed. Helena kissed her forehead. You are ours now. And we are yours. Isadora felt it, the hum, the pull, the grief and love and rage, move through her like blood. She didn't cry. She didn't smile. She simply stood tall. And the garden bloomed. It rained the next morning. Soft. Steady. The garden drank in silence. Isadora stood barefoot in the mud, watching the drops fall on the jasmine petals. The pendant lay against her chest now, resting cold and heavy on her skin. Behind her, the women stood still as statues. Not speaking. Not blinking. "I thought something would change," she whispered. Antonia stepped beside her, her cane sinking slightly in the earth. It did. No thunder. No vision. No light in the sky. "This isn't a fairy tale." Isadora turned to her. "Then what is it?" "A continuation." "Of what?" "Of all the stories the world tried to bury." The women began to hum again. This time, Isadora recognized the sound, not sorrow, not warning. It was a welcome. Antonia stepped forward. "It's time for me to rest." Isadora's throat tightened. "You're leaving." "I've already stayed too long." "Where will you go?" Antonia smiled faintly. "Nowhere. I'll become part of the soil." "No. It's the way. I was a guardian. Not a queen." "Let me bury you, at least." "No," she said. "When the time comes, the garden will know what to do." A breeze moved through the vines. One by one, the women turned and disappeared among the leaves. Only Isadora and Antonia remained. "You're not alone," Antonia said. "You'll never be." Then she turned and walked slowly into the mist. Isadora didn't follow. She just stood there, waiting. Hours passed. When the sun returned, Elias came walking up the path, boots covered in red dirt. He saw her standing there and stopped a few feet away. "You look different," he said. "I am." He looked past her. "Where's your aunt?" "She's gone." "Gone how?" "Gone back." Elias stepped closer. "Isadora, I need to ask you something. And I need you to tell me the truth." "Ask." "What happened to the men who hurt them?" She looked at him. Really looked. And said nothing. He stepped back. "You did something. Didn't you?" "I didn't," she said. "But I carry what was done." "Isadora. You came here because you care. But caring doesn't mean you get to know everything. I need to know if you're in danger." "I'm not." "Are you safe?" She paused. "I don't think I'll ever be safe. But I am whole." Elias rubbed the back of his neck. "I'm trying to understand." "I don't need you to understand," she said softly. "I need you to trust me." "I want to." "Then don't ask me to explain the garden. Let it be what it is." He nodded slowly. "All right." They walked through the garden together. The air was heavy, fragrant, alive. "You can still leave," she said. "I know. I won't stop you." "I know." They stopped at the well. Isadora knelt beside it and placed a new stone at its edge. Blank. Elias crouched beside her. "What's that for?" "Someone I haven't met yet." He looked at her. "Isadora, what are you becoming?" She didn't look up. Not a leader. Not a priestess. Something quieter. Something lonelier. Sometimes. They stood. Back at the house, Isadora gathered the old journals, the dried petals, and laid them across the table in the sunroom. She opened her mother's book and added a new name. Hers. Not crossed out. Just there. Written clearly. "I want to stay," Elias said. Isadora turned to him. "Then stay." "But I need to help." "Help with what?" "With remembering." She smiled. "Then plant something." He blinked. "What?" "If you want to help the garden, start planting." He chuckled. "Okay." That night, the jasmine didn't hum. It sang. And the next morning, the first man who had ever truly listened planted rosemary near the well.